Hello, Redditors. Hello, Challenge fans. Welcome to the Challenge Redditors React Podcast. I'm Levi Hall. I'm your host, and I can never do this on my own. Can I, George? I've got to have you, my ally, my best bud, the hot one of the podcast. How are you doing, George? How's your week been?
I think you should be more offended by being not the hot one of the podcast based on how shit I look today. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm liking the hair down. I like your hair down.
Do you know, it just does what it wants. It's much like Emmy on a challenge. Does whatever she likes. I'm going to rename my hair Emmy.
I think that's what she'd want. You can dye it blue as well.
I am doing a 26 pub crawl in about a month, but I'm very tempted to go as a Smurf. So I might just dye my hair blue instead, actually.
George doing a 26 pub crawl. That is classic George.
Honestly, mate, when we can next do as a podcast away trip, if anyone in the UK would like to join us, you're more than welcome. Every Saturday in Leeds, people do this 26 pub crawl in fancy dress, regardless of the day of the year. It's outstanding. I went as a cow last time and we blocked traffic by crawling very slowly across the road. And then when people shouted at us, we said, sorry, we're just moving on, which was only funny because we were hammered. It was a very shit chat.
Do you know, the funny thing is, this is how in sync we are. I genuinely was about to go. I bet people wanted you to move out the way.
It was utterly fascinating.
Oh, we are literally the same person. So, George, we have a wonderful podcast this week, although I must say it's going to be cut short with no reason and left with a cliffhanger. We are joined this week by guest panelist Ryan. He goes by Vadumph over on the Reddit. He is actually a close personal friend of mine of nearly 20 years. Possibly more, actually. And he was the one who I got into the challenge while he was staying with me. So I think that's going to be a really fun conversation to have. But we must start the way we always do, with the banter segment. Now, that is what I would normally say, George. But actually, something more important has happened this week.
Oh, what? There's some good banter.
We'll get to the banter. But first, a very serious thing has happened this week. Something that we must shower with praise, shower with love, shower with congratulations, because Kyle Christie is a daddy.
He's going to be such a good dad. Also, the photo they used in the world. The photo they used to launch it looks incredibly sweet. Yeah, good for Kyle. I'm very, very happy for him. That kid's going to be exceptionally good looking when it grows up. He's got two stunning parents.
Well, Kyle's had a lot of surgery. Let's remember that.
Yeah, so there's father-son discounts on surgery. You don't know about this.
Well, the baby is called Crew Jax Christie. I don't know if they're going to call it CJ, but if they are, we've got CJ Christie and CJ Tamburino. He was born 1557 on the 13th of September, which is Wednesday. I think that's Monday. Weighed 8 pounds 6 ounces. And lovely picture of Kyle kissing the baby's head. So big congratulations to Kyle and big congratulations to his girlfriend, Vicky. Really, really lovely news. And, you know, we don't like being too serious, although we do for Kyle. Time for the banter segment.
Yes, Kyle, if you're listening, which I'm sure you're not, but I wish you were, because you're literally my favorite person on the challenge. Congratulations. And I can't wait for the father-son challenge series in about 20 years is going to be brilliant. So actually really, really good competitors on there.
Kyle will have had so much work done that he'd look younger than Crew.
We need to also bring on Kyle's brother, apparently very good lad. Anyway, sorry.
A very good hairdresser, according to Instagram as well.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Been stalking.
No, Kyle reposts some of his haircuts that he does. Very good hairdresser. I assume up in Newcastle. So yeah, if you're in Newcastle, go see Kyle Christie for a haircut.
Oh, we should do that after our trip to Leeds.
Leeds.
That's not going to translate well to our American audience. So little bit of banter. My mum has joined a new company, and for her email address, she has to have a middle name. My mum was never given a middle name. My mum has never watched a challenge. Guess what name she chose?
Big T.
That'd be great. It does begin with T. Think of wonderful Devon Simone. No, think of wonderful Devon Simone.
Tevin. Tamara!
My mum out of nowhere picked Tamara. She said that. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So yes, that was very funny. I got a bit bored on a work call, read that message, and just started like snorting with laughter, which obviously ruined all my gravitas.
I'm gonna rename your mum Tamara this 28.
Nice. And then the other bit of banter I've got for you is tomorrow I am running a half marathon while getting electrocuted.
What the fuck goes on in your life?
I get bored really easily. No, I'm doing Tough Mudder.
I want to do that.
It's really fun. But the one I did 2 years ago only had 15 obstacles. This one's got 25. One of the ones they've added, I'm getting sodding tear gassed.
You're mental.
Yeah, but it's going to give me great content for my application to be on the challenge. Just me crying.
Oh, send me pictures. I'll stick it on the Instagram.
I'm gonna see if I can get my my GoPro working for that. So we'll do a little bit of banana cam footage. Oh, and I'll eat a banana.
Well, maybe this week, instead of a Levi challenge, this week is the George challenge. George completes Tough Mudder.
Oh, that's fine. I'm doing it with my mate who's just had knee reconstruction surgery. So I'm going to be eating. I'm way faster than him at the best of times. He is way stronger than me, though. He's built like Hunter. Got more hair. He's got glorious hair. Anyway, sorry, that was a bit weird.
Well, your hair is glorious this week, George.
Oh, thank you, Levi. Anything from you for banter? I met your parents the other day. That was fun.
Yep, sent George a little video of the parents because guess who completed the Levi challenge for the first time in 3 weeks?
Was it Levi?
It was this guy.
Yeah, you're now batting back over 500. Good work.
Yep, 3-2 Levi. George is trailing behind, but you can this week get a point if you complete that Tough Mudder on the George challenge, which I just threw in because I don't want to do another challenge this week.
In all fairness, you've been that last challenge. But if anyone doesn't remember, you had to not eat and not drink for 25 hours. I don't know how you did that.
Do you know what? It's not that bad. It's the drinking that's the issue. The eating's not really a big deal. But the last 3-4 hours, I was seeing spots the whole time. But for the first time, I exercised before the fast started. So normally I won't exercise within 24 hours of the fast starting. But I thought, I'll do a spin class with an hour to go. So I did a spin class, and then I was like, oh no, I've literally just sweated out most of the water in my body. So then I drank 3.5 liters of water and had my dinner before 7:01, which is when it started. And literally it was like 7 o'clock and 58 seconds. And I was like, stop. And then, got through that. Finished at 8 o'clock last night. It's weird. It's 24 hours and 59 minutes for some reason. But yeah, then I overindulged in the food, which was marvelous. But complete. And then got a video of my parents just for you, just to prove that it was complete. But yeah, very pleased with myself, but I'm looking forward to hopefully you get this GoPro working, because I'm looking forward to seeing some of the footage. I'll edit it together and stick it on the Instagram if possible.
Yes, please do that. I can't do it. I'll ask Ed if I can share a photo of him from the last one for the next podcast. It's the funniest photo of all time.
Ed from the Challenge Fresh Eyes, who we met.
Yeah, Spirit, who is now listened to all of our Spies, Lies and Allies episodes. He really liked Brian and he loved Jake. He's been a big fan of every guest, but he's a bit of a data nerd as well. So he's met you. He likes you. He had to tell you you're a dick after you got me so drunk on the Devon podcast, and he had to look after Nick.
That was wonderful. Well, he and me are going to be drinking buddies on your birthday, so because I won't know anyone else. Although I'll be like going up to her, oh my God, you're Irish Ola, and she'll be like, how do you know? I'll be like, oh, you know Huey.
Should we invite Huey?
Oh my God. But do you know the funniest thing though? It's like, I'll be like, oh, I know you. They'll be like, how? I'll be like, because George talks about it on the podcast. And then they'll go, you're Levi!
It'd be really awkward if you're just like, I don't know who you are. George has never mentioned you. That'd be quite funny.
Yeah. I know you. Should we do some squatting in heels? Yeah, you love doing the squatting in heels. I remember all the friends, all of George's friends.
So, you'll just be a bit of an alien concept to them. Speaking of alien,
there he is. That's why he's my co-host.
Do you have a little review for us?
Well, this week, George, I have been listening to Emmy's brand new track, Alien by Emmia Lupe. But what I thought was, since the challenge was a 1 hour promotion for her song, that I would give you my Emmy's EP's roundup a little bit later on in the podcast when Emmy performs at Club Night.
Sorry, missed that one.
Fucking good track, and it's in English, so bloody love that shit.
Yeah, good work, Emmy.
Do you know what also happened this week?
Ooh, go on.
We became officially #TJ approved.
Yeah, this is very, very exciting. I've been quite giddy about that for a while.
Oh my God. It just came out of nowhere. He replied to one of the videos we did, which video was it? It wasn't the one of us talking about how hot Logan was it?
That was like 90% of the last pod, so it probably was.
No, it wasn't. It was the one about
the pig.
He is a pig. So he replied to that saying that we were funny, and then just out of nowhere just posted our video, which has now had nearly 2,000 views.
Nice.
Which is amazing. So thank you, TJ. He then followed us. He slid into my DMs.
That is very exciting.
And, we've got our fingers crossed. Let's not jinx it, but maybe we'll have a little chat.
Don't say it.
No, not going to jinx it. I said maybe. Who knows? That is what our fingers are crossed for. But today we will be chatting to a Redditor. But before we do, George, we just need to turn that car, just park it there on Redditor's Corner by your massive poll. What's been going on the Reddit this week? Tell us about this poll. Who's hotter, Logan or Joss?
Joss. And the poll agrees with me. Very close, though. Joss was originally running away with it quite a lot. But he won by 699 votes to 613 on this one. So, yeah, Logan's hot, but he's not as hot as Joss. He's not as hot as, and neither of them are as hot as Brian.
So, you know how I put that on our Instagram?
Yeah, because you did one too.
Yeah, Logan won it. I can't remember the percentage. But after I put it up, Joss slid into my DMs and said he did like the crying laughter face, to which I replied, "It's the big challenge debate right now." And he said, "Haha, that's a picture of me after doing an all-nighter and running up the Rock of Gibraltar. That's his professionally taken cast photo. I'll leave it there."
Joss is funny. I really think like he's got some gold confessionals. I'm really, really annoyed that the challenge didn't keep bringing him back.
Well, maybe one day. One day we'll have the return of instead of Joss and Rogan, it could be Joss and Logan, and they just clean up in the house.
Oh my God, imagine those two on a night out together. Jesus Christ, get a mop. Ugh, sorry.
always lowering the tone with this sexual filth.
That was quite filthy. Redditor's Corner. I'm only going to stick with one today, but it was very, very good. You know the meme of the spaceman looking at the Earth, and there's one behind him with a gun?
Yeah. No, yeah. I don't, but yeah. It's on the screen, so I'll just pretend I know. There we go. Yep.
Yeah.
George is holding it, and it's over there.
Whichever way it is. So we've got the Earth. We've got the Earth being Josh, and we've got one spaceman saying, "We are Josh fans now," and then the other one saying, "Always have been." And then basically the joke to me is like, people always pretend they know what's happening. Which I think I actually never know what this one's about, but I found that enjoyable because I'm seeing a lot of uptick in Josh's popularity. I would like to say I'm ahead of the curve. I was happy about him from week one this season, but yeah good on Josh. Actually, last season,
were you happy about him, or did we just both go, well, let's try and be nice about Josh this season?
No, last season I admitted that he's annoying, but he adds loads to the show, and I stand by that. The show, you wouldn't have got What's 8 times 9 without Josh.
Devin did it. Devin would have found another stupid person.
There's a lot of them. Most can't divide by two. I actually think Devin was quite harsh, giving Josh really a real hard one last week, and then goes, "Oh my God, they're all so dumb."
Well, as you say, we wouldn't have got a lot of content without Josh, and we wouldn't be able to have the podcast without our third person. So as I said, his name is Ryan. He goes by Fadump on Reddit. He's kind of brand new to the challenge. I got him into it in July, but he's now watched a lot of seasons. and he is fully up to date with this season. So without further ado, let's bring on Ryan. So welcome to the podcast, Ryan.
Thank you very much for having me, Levi. Hello, George.
I will always have you, except that time you asked to stay and I said no because I was told I was moving back to my flat and then I wasn't. Sorry about that.
You just left me abandoned in London.
Real friends, George, real friends. How are you doing,
Podcast friends are real friends. Nice to meet you, Ryan.
100%.
You are my friend, George. You've got me through many a Thursday night.
Oh, I don't think I said anything mean there. Yeah, good
I
to have
think
you
we're
on.
coming up. I think we're coming up to our 50th podcast, by the way, in a couple of weeks.
And almost our 1 year anniversary.
What are you getting me?
Herpes.
Ryan, how you been?
Been really good, thanks.
So tell George how you got into the challenge, because it's a wonderful story.
It involves you.
Basically got into the challenge because of this podcast. Essentially, because I found out Levi had a podcast, he told me what it was about. I have no idea what that TV program is. So then when I did visit him in London, the time he did let me stay, we just ended up watching hours of the challenge.
Oh, just look at the challenge bring people together. Again, as someone who had it described to them, from the first description, what the hell did you think it was?
I didn't give you one.
Yeah, I don't think he did. We were talking about Love Island, and because we were talking about Love Island, he was like, no, you're going to have to watch the challenge now.
No, it wasn't just Love Island. What was the other one you told me you watched?
Oh, was it made in Chelsea, wasn't it?
No, okay, that's new. Didn't know that one. It was Too Hot to Handle.
Too Hot to Handle, of course it was, yeah.
Because I was like, oh, boom, Kells.
Yes.
And then I showed you No, it wasn't Global Activation. I showed you what we call episode 0 of Double Agents.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And then you were hooked.
So you smashed through Double Agents, but then you watched I imagine you watched quite a lot if you spent hours watching it, right?
Yeah, so I've watched every one from 30 onwards. I think that's right. Yeah.
Favorite season?
I don't know. I mean, I think part of the problem is going through them that quickly is that it's almost difficult. Like a lot of them have kind of merged into one. So I mean, I guess this one, because it's the first one that I get to watch live as it goes.
Yeah.
But the weirdest thing though is because Ryan works shifts and also works from home, he actually watches the episodes before I watch the episodes now.
Yeah, that's right. I've got to avoid spoilers. So before, I was texting you about stuff that happened for you about 4 years ago, and now I'm texting you stuff that you don't know about. So.
And I'm like, no spoilers, no spoilers.
Levi's very good on that. He won't send me the running order until he's checked 6 times if I've watched it, which is much nicer for him. I think he very nearly sent one once. I was halfway through the episode and I stupidly expanded the message and saw who still deleted, eliminated. That's a whole new
game.
Yeah. That's what happened to Lauren.
Yeah. Who?
Yeah. Oh, we can't. Okay. Sorry.
Lauren Hugan? Lauren Hugan?
No. Never heard of a Lauren.
No. Interestingly, I was saying to Ryan that when Kyle reposted our congratulations on being a daddy, the next person on the repost of his story was some girl, I think she was on Love Island USA, called Lauren Coogan, but I don't think it's the same Lauren because she wasn't on the challenge, so I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway.
Josh's partner from the start was Amber, right?
Pardon?
Josh's partner from the beginning of this series was Amber.
It was really weird. Like, she was already there, and then they were like, "Oh, let's stick her in a Lamborghini and bring her back in."
Yeah, a lap, and then because she's the champion.
Yeah, the champ is here, and do you know who else is here? You are, Ryan. You are here to help us run down this week's episode of the challenge. So it's back for another episode, albeit a short one that we weren't told about. Last week, Anissa got injured and was eliminated. Diddums. Logan asked to go into elimination, as did Pumped Up Garbo. And Logan won the elimination because he is hotter than Joss. He chose George's friend Nanny as his partner, which left our genuine friend of the pod, Huey, and Emmy as the only rookie team left in the competition. Now, that is a lot to digest. So let's see what went down when they got back to the house. So Ed is very happy for his friend Logan. Now, I have a question because I've noticed this in a few episodes. Is there a rule that the order that you come back into the house is like the order of if you've won elimination, you come back in first with your new partner. And when you come back from the missions, the people that win the mission come back. Just a nice little quaint thing I've noticed. That's what we do on this podcast. We're all about the specifics.
Yeah, they're basically treated like king and queen, aren't they? Even when they come back from the club night, they're always first through the door.
I just feel like they can sit there and be, king of the castle, king of the castle. I got the chair, king of the castle. It's one of my favorite things from Borat. Yeah, Ed and Logan, what do we think of that friendship? Lead.
Have we? Good. That's really silly. Have we seen these guys talk ever?
I don't think.
No, I got to say, there's a lot in this episode where a lot of people seem to be friends, and we've never seen them talk.
It does seem that everyone loves Logan though, because I think somebody else gives him a hug afterwards. So
do you think that's because he's really fucking hot, Ryan?
I think it might be because he's really fucking hot. But do you know who didn't get a lot of hugs for being really hot? Is Joss. I'm sorry, I don't even have.
It's because he's too good looking. You just can't bring yourself to you just admire from afar. Logan's too approachable. That's why he's less hot. We can't spend another podcast arguing about who's hotter.
Well, it's also according to Joss because Logan, we're just seeing his professionally captured photos, whereas we only see Joss when he's done an all-nighter and climbed up a mountain.
Oh, man.
It still looks great.
Let's put this feud to bed, lads. Everyone loves Logan. That's the point, right?
We love him. George doesn't. George also doesn't love Nanny, though. So that partnership is something that he's really against.
I also love talking about that he was chanting and he's like, did you hear me shouting hell yeah? Like no one had hell yeah before.
And Logan was like, yes, thank you very much. I'm so hot.
He's just an excitable guy, isn't he, Ed? I love him.
And Logan's just hot.
Yeah.
Ed is like the kind of bloke who's constantly had 3 or 4 espresso martinis, but that's just his level. I'm a big fan of it. I really like Ed.
Do you think, they have those little drinks, what they called 5-hour energy? Do you think Ed's got his own ones, like 5-year energy? So he just drinks one and then he's like, Ed!
I just think he has them constantly like on an IV drip, but it's 5-hour energy.
Oh my God, that would be awful.
Classic Ed.
I just imagine him like in his sleep. He's drifting off to bed and then he's just like, whoa, challenge!
So we know Logan's in a better position to be with Nanny, but do you know who that puts in a worse position?
Does it put Huey in the worst position, George? Have you been practicing segues this week?
No, I just feel like I need to move the conversation on.
Oh. Like you move around the screen. Yes, Huey is talking with Big T about being the only rookie pair with Emmy. He kind of accepts that they're going in, but hopes there's a way out. But he says he basically needs to get away from Emmy and get a new partner. Kind of stating the obvious. I kind of feel like because of this whole we throw the rookie in every time, it's made the game, and because the rookies don't win, it's just made the game a bit boring.
Yeah,
to play and watch.
The problem is, I really wanted to see how a scenario played out when there was still rookies in the game and a rookie pairing won, and would they have taken the shot or would they have just gone with the crowd to cement their place in the game? There's a few who I think would have taken the shot, but unfortunately they were the ones who got eliminated earliest and had the best chance of winning, right? But I could have seen Kels and Michaela. I could have seen like Michelle and I forgot who she was with.
Renan?
No, Michelle. Not Michaela.
Well, Tommy, I mean, she hung out with Tommy, but they weren't partners, were they?
Yeah, whoever she was partnered with for a bit, they nearly won. They came second in one. Coriel. When Michelle and Coriel were together, they very nearly won, I think. And that would have been interesting to see because I think they might have tried to break up the game a little bit. But we're never getting an answer to that question now, are we?
No, I think it's going to just keep going till all the rookies are gone.
So lazy.
But then even then, they'll just vote in a team and then just put rookies in as it. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah, because that's the voting two separate people will inevitably not be a good twist, because you'll just, even when they aren't rookie teams anymore, you just end up with two rookies down there. It's good in theory, but in practice it doesn't necessarily work.
It's like the first time they did the Gold Skull, it was good in theory, but it didn't work.
Yeah. Yes. The interesting one there, though, is what happens when it's all vets. That's when it will be that, because usually the challenge trajectory is, I love the start, there's a bit of a slump in the middle, and then the end ticks up a bit as well. This is going to be different. I've actually really liked the start up until now. Spoiler alert before I think of the episode. But
classic George jumping ahead, tick it off the bingo card.
But when we get to like the middle bit, when there's not that many rookies left, all the rookies left are really strong, then you're going to end up with those deliberations are going to absolutely catch fire, because people are going to start like bringing shit up that people have done from ages ago to get them voted in. And I think that's where I hope that twist pays back.
Because if there's anything we know about a challenger, they can't get over stuff from 7 years ago. But you know, we talk about the rookies, and you kind of need to be a strong rookie to get through this game the way that it's playing. But you also need some vets on your side. And I think we saw the beginning of this last week, which was the CT and Emmy kind of uncle-niece relationship. And he's giving her a pep talk in the bedroom and does this confessional saying that he really likes her. She could be a really good challenger. She loves Uncle CT. And Emmanuel's saying that she's a tough cookie. If we're putting our Jake Challenge Edgic hat on, do you think the way Emmy's been edited throughout this season so far is saying that maybe she might be getting quite far into the game, and that she's someone they're going to want to bring back?
Yeah, I think that's a really fair point. Also, CT talks about her controlling her emotions. And obviously, anyone who knows, if anyone's going to know about trying to control your emotions, it's CT. He's had that curve, that kind of like personality curve over so many seasons, but she seems to be doing it much quicker, or at least that's what they're kind of hoping is going to happen. And obviously, later on in this episode, we also see more of that. And so I think that's a really, really fair point, actually. She's been really up really well.
And CT's topless in this scene, George. So are you ready to apologise for the stuff you said last week about him?
I text you about that, to be fair. CT is hot. Pay back the lack of ours. But yeah, CT is gorgeous. Also, mainly for the legs alone. But on what you just asked about Emmy, is I literally every episode I change my opinion on her. It's really hard to nail down how I think.
I really like her.
This one's nice because, one, to put the Jake hat on, second person visibility from CT must be worth a lot because CT is such a fan favourite. Two, she's the youngest by quite a way, and she is just excitable and over emotional about a lot of things. And that excitable angle is something I really like, because it's what fans would be like if they were on the show. So that's where I'm starting to like warm to her a bit as well. And she's in a lot of this episode, mostly very, very positive like appearance stuff.
I think she's been one of the rookies. I think what's been hard with the rookies this year has been the language barrier. And I think we saw that on War of the Worlds 1 as well, with like Alan from Telenuvos and JP, and even Turbo to an extent. He struggled a lot with the language and the banter and things like that. And I think that was really detrimental to him in War of the Worlds 2. And I think she and Emmanuel and Esther have probably, and as well, you know, the Brits, because same language, but they've been the ones that have struggled less with the English and have been able to communicate a lot better.
Sorry, I'm just giggling because I'm remembering all of Turbo's best one-liners from War of the Worlds 1. It's like, I'm human too. No, you're not, you're a chicken. It's just like, what is that smell? Fear. He was great on War of the Worlds 1.
War of the Worlds 2, scary.
Yeah, 3 very large men trying to hold you back and actually struggling. That was quite terrifying. Sorry, what was the question? I actually was generally thinking about Turbo.
It wasn't really a question. It was just more about how I think Emmy's doing really well, because she's one of the ones that is controlling the language barrier a bit better.
Yeah, also, who's the most like 3-dimensionally developed rookie at the moment?
They're probably all 3-dimensional.
Oh, piss off. Who's not a one-note character at the moment? Emmy's definitely got more of it because she's shown her relationship with a few challenges. She's got the emotional bit is probably her biggest thing, but there's also her wonderful singing, making friends with people, rapping. The adoption thing with CT. You probably feel you know Emmy the most out of the rookies so far, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think obviously there's good shouts for Emmanuel and Logan because of the stuff they've done and the some of the hookups and I guess like Logan going in last week and wanting to go in. You've seen his personality and what and how he feels and obviously how he thinks about the game because Josh tried to tell him that wasn't the right option, but everybody else said it was the right option. Even Josh last week on Aftermath admitted that he got it wrong and it was the right option. So
with the wonderful Devon Simone.
With the wonderful Devon Simone, sorry, yeah. So obviously there's an acceptance that that Logan gets the game, so he's got some of that. But I think Emmy's certainly right up there because, like you say, she's shown so many facets of the game already and of her personality.
And I think someone else who's quite a three-dimensional character is Ashley. We've seen so many sides of her. She does some yoga. Anyway, Josh then has his first ever conversation with Esther, it seems, which is, it's really good that they threw that one in there, given what happens later, because they haven't spoken all season. And of course, Josh talks about his two favorite topics, Fessy and himself. Talks to Esther basically saying how Fessy does everything for Fessy. It's not about the team. This is not a team game. It's a partner's game. He says it wasn't strategic. It was personal to go for Amber B. It's pissing me off that they keep calling her Amber B. Her name is Amber.
Yeah,
Amber M is gone.
She defeated the other Amber. It's like Highlander. There's only one.
Get your name back. And Esther reminds him, I quite like this. Esther's like, it's a game. Like, don't take it so seriously. And then Josh loves her vibes, and Esther doesn't like that Josh and Fessy are on bad terms. When did these two? What? Like, what?
So apparently, she gave him a blumpkin in the bathroom, allegedly.
Allegedly, thank you. Allegedly, according to Amanda.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Blumpkin's a funny word, but a horrible thing.
But he's really like. I do find it a bit weird because as much as we're not Fessy's biggest fans, Josh has taken this really personally. It wasn't even a shot at him.
So my favourite part of this conversation is where basically Esther says they just need to talk. And it just reminds me of rom-coms. There's like a trope where if a rom-com, if the whole basically like falling out of the two partners can just be solved by them actually just having a fucking conversation, then it's really quite a stupid film because and that happens so often in rom-coms. And this is basically what's happened with Josh and Fessy here. They haven't had a conversation. They just haven't spoken since Fessy decided to throw Amber in. So they're never actually going to do anything. They're never going to solve it because they just refuse to have a conversation. So it's just going to get worse and worse. And I mean, we know it does. It does. But if instead of him talking to Esther and Fessy talking to Amanda, if they just had that conversation together, it'd be a lot easier.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned Fessy talking to Amanda because they are having that conversation, Ryan. You're all doing the segues because she's basically saying to Fessy, what you're saying to Fessy, Ryan, you are basically the devil. And she basically says to Fessy, just talk to Josh, apologize for hurting his feelings. Josh feels like you don't listen to him. So this, like you're saying, they're going around the house having all these conversations with everyone else. Just have a conversation with each other. It's like when you're kids and you're like, oh, I really like that girl. And she's going around telling everyone, oh, I really like that guy. But you never tell each other.
Yeah, kids. Because Amanda 2 weeks ago said she didn't want to be Kyle's mum. And this conversation is basically her being Fessy's mum.
Ugh, gross.
she drove, according to her Instagram story, she drove Fessy to Botox this week.
Very mums.
In the station wagon. You look like you're pondering, George.
Yeah, I'm on Josh's side here. The only way I wouldn't be there is apparently, do we know if Josh knew about this decision before it happened? We think we do, don't we? I think you caught something in the episode after, right, Levi?
I think what Josh knew was that Fessy was really, 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 really thinking about it, and Josh was really, really, really trying to talk him out of it. And because of who Josh is, Josh just assumed that he talked him out of it.
Well, but I can see Josh's point. There was Josh, actually, Fessy's on Bananas podcast this week. It's actually really interesting. It's not as funny as the one with Kyle, or as charming, or as interesting, or as good, but he's on it. But
I bet if Logan went on his podcast and they did a video one, you wouldn't watch it, George, because you think Logan's so ugly and hideous.
Anyway, but Fessy says that I think Josh definitely knew, and then apparently there's a bit that you don't see in this episode, and probably won't be that actually, where it's like Josh was like, I want to keep Amber because she's a strong partner. Obviously, he thinks he could potentially win a final with her. Fessy's point is, you'll end up with a strong partner. So the thing there, it's not about who he threw in, it's the lack of respect for Fessy not listening to Josh, right? That's what it comes down to. And going, you're meant to be my number one. I asked you for one thing and you didn't do it. And Fessy's like, you're making a big deal out of nothing. Actually, yes, children. Really big children with giant chins.
Are they like actually friends? Or is it just you on Big Brother, I was on Big Brother, let's be the Big Brother Alliance?
No, they're on. They actually are friends. They hang out. I think basically everyone on this show is friends.
No, but I mean, like, you know, when they came in, when Fessy came in, were they friends beforehand, or was Josh just like, you were on Big Brother, so we be friends?
I don't think we saw them much together on Total Madness because Josh was firmly in Johnny's camp, and Fessy and Johnny did not get on at the start of Total Madness, just because Fessy didn't go up and say hello to him because he was a bit shy. Introvert he is. The two of them just need to kiss and make up, maybe just go out on a nice little date. Speaking of, Casey takes Nanny out on a nutritionally balanced date with a menu of chocolate covered strawberries, pizza, champagne, and a box of celebrations poured out onto a plate. It's lovely. You know, Nanny loves how thoughtful Casey is, and then Casey spends the whole of the date talking about Josh and Fessy. If you swap the pizza for gin, that's everything in my fridge at the moment. I need to go shopping.
That is classic George. How would you have a six-pack when you drink so much shit and you have the worst nutrition?
I also smoke.
I know. Don't smoke, children. Don't smoke.
It's cool.
It's not cool.
You don't have Logan to cut your pizza into a heart shape and put it on a plate for you, which is apparently what happened.
How did you find that out? Is that the Aftermath?
Challenge Aftermath. Wonderful, Devon Simone.
I've not watched this one yet. That's I will be doing that after this podcast, actually.
So yeah, this romantic day, I think it's really nice, I've got to say, for the challenge to be showing a same-sex relationship in the way that normal relationships are shown now. I think it's long overdue.
Yeah, because they've had these date things on the challenge before. So like Nate and Nicole on Rivals 3 got like a proper date. Devon and can't Nate talk about her also got one. This was just nice. The thing is though, okay, this should be making Casey more interesting. It's not. I'm not getting anything from her.
Okay, so Casey's personality is the Big Brother Alliance. That is it. And all she talks about on this date, while Nanny's talking about how lovely and thoughtful Casey is the Big Brother Alliance. Casey, if Josh and Fessy had, I don't know, flown over and caught COVID and therefore couldn't be on the season, there's no point having Casey on.
She's a very good physical competitor. I want to see her go into elimination when she doesn't have to. I really want to see what she can do. Yeah, Levi and I were saying this on an episode like at the end of Double Agents, like a season of Casey being in the minority and getting thrown in every time and having to compete would probably be the only thing that would bring fans round to her, because she's good enough to go against the house.
Yeah, if she went up against people that could take her out, you're right, that would be interesting. I think my favourite part of this date though is Ashley, which obviously she's not part of the date, but when they come out and everyone's making the noises and cheering them on, and she tells everyone, no, I'm gonna tell them all to go inside. Which I think is really nice.
She's the nosiest one out of all of them.
It's true, yeah. She also delivers what I think is the line of the show, when she says it's really nice. It makes me sick. I'm so lonely. Like that is the most relatable thing that anyone says possibly ever on the show.
Me too, Ashley. Yeah. Slide into my DMs just to say hello.
So, slight tangent, but I went to a wedding the other week, and the priest legitimately says the words, "Now you have found each other, you have left that void of loneliness." And I just sat there, and everyone's in mask. I just went, "Fuck you! I feel personally victimized."
Were you in the Christmas mask?
Yes, that was when I was in the Christmas mask.
Never too early, George. Never too early. But no, it was nice. We saw them have a nice conversation about Josh and Fessy. They had a lovely date. They ate some celebrations. I bet they left the bounty. And then, had a nice little kiss. They weren't the only ones that kissed that night, because the fucking weirdest thing in the whole wide world happened because Josh started kissing Esther. What? You had one conversation in the kitchen in episode 6. What?
Josh got game.
But there's something so, we love Josh, we're being nice about Josh. Just watching him kiss, it was so creepy.
Yeah, that was the point where I messaged you and Brian at the same time, going, ew.
Yeah, I did not like that.
Sorry, Brian, I keep interrupting you.
Why do they also always act like they don't know that the cameras are there? Like when he was doing his confessional about it, he's like, I'm really embarrassed. Like, there's a fucking camera, mate. We know.
Also,
do you think they
like you're a fucking adult? You're not 12 years old. You've kissed someone. Get a fucking grip, mate.
Do you think they just tune, like after a while though? Do you think you just tune the cameras out and you're kind of not really aware of it? I could see that happening in his defense.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense. But it's just like when he's in the confession and he starts getting embarrassed about it. It's like, yeah, we know what happened.
But Esther, despite only ever having one conversation with Josh, she says that she likes him, but she doesn't know what she likes about him. A bit like the rest of us, we like Josh, we don't know what we like about him. But what I really loved about this scene, and for me, what was just beautiful about it, was that lovely giant pink bow in Esther's hair. And that basically sums up what I thought of them kissing.
Don't really have anything to add to that.
Cool. Does someone want to just talk about it? I can't talk about it. It's weird. It's weird.
No, I'm glad Josh has finally got some.
Oh god, do you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember when he like was flirting with Georgia in War of the Worlds 2? And he was like, "Oh, give me a kiss on the cheek," and then she goes to kiss him and kisses her on the lips and like, "Oh, get a fucking grip, mate."
Yeah.
Oh, and when he told Amanda he was in love with her in War of the Worlds 1 and they make a lovely couple. I don't know. I find it a bit creepy.
That's not what he says to Amanda. He says it doesn't benefit me to give someone else here good dick when I can give you good dick.
Oh, okay. That makes it even worse. It was really creepy.
For anyone who's only listening, Ryan may have just physically shivered at that line.
It's just...
Can we please move on? Can we please move on?
Yeah, the alarm goes off and it's time for the agents to head down to the mission to join TJ. So, I didn't delete it again. They're not struggling with their footing. They did that 2 weeks ago. Let's head down to the mission. Let's head down to the mission to find out from TJ exactly what's in store. Okay, so basically the agents are strapped to the roof of a drift car. Drift. 2 teams play at a time. They'll go back and forth down a runway to a tanker, drifting the whole time. Tanker has symbols. That will help them solve a code to unlock their box. They both have a box. They have the same code. They tell each other the code. Fastest team wins, becomes the agency. Power couple.
Power couple.
that makes sense?
I just about.
How do the symbols equate to numbers?
I don't know.
I think they have to count how many times the symbol was on. But I wasn't sure, because actually I'm not sure there was that many symbols. It was tough to work out.
Yeah, there was only about 10 or 12. I think they were given a key prior to it. That's the only thing I can think of. But I can't know if I'm being dumb or if I'm missing something. Probably both.
No, I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
Okay.
For me, does anyone else feel like this challenge was only fun for them doing it? Like the rest of us were like, I'm just watching people have fun, which I'm a bit jealous of, and then I don't understand what the point of this is.
I imagine there's 3 tick boxes for a daily challenge, right? Looks good for shots for a trailer. Fun to do, fun for us. This was the first 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done on self-censoring which fingers went up there, George. Good job.
Yeah, I know, that was good. Also, I found out here that I can put my finger up here because where the lights come in, you guys can't see if I'm actually being rude or not. This is great.
But George, you know I run you through a filter because I run myself through a filter so I don't get washed out, and that sorts all that grading out. One thing I will say, and I think it's very important because he's now a fan of the podcast clips. TJ has the power to control the rain. It was like he was in the Truman Show. He's doing his little bit to camera, fucking pissing it down. You go to watch the challenges. They've all got their sunnies on, sunbathing. Back to TJ. Suddenly it's snowing. Back to the challengers. They're all eating their ice lollies. Back to TJ. What?
He also has an amazing ability to just say the words, "This is sick." And Tori just loses her shit. She's just like, "This is sick." It's like, but you don't even know what's happening yet. It's just that TJ said it's sick.
TJ could say anything to me and I'd get excited.
He's the most effortlessly cool bloke on the planet.
He'd just be like, "Hey, Levi, can you get me a glass of water?" Oh my God, TJ, I'm so going to get you a glass of water right now. You're literally the best human.
I get killed getting this water for you.
Oh, here you go, TJ. You can have my water.
Well, now that's a bit weird.
It was. I've realised how weird it was now that I've said it, but as I've kind of pledged this season to not do any editing because it takes so long, we're just keeping it in.
Cool.
But I think you can tell that this challenge was so fun. This daily was so fun for all of them because every single bloke does the same thing. They all do the Superman pose. No women do it. It's just the men.
Yeah,
I fucking love it. This is definitely a challenge that TJ was like, "Yeah, do you want me to do the test dummy?"
Yeah, I wonder if he gets to try them out. Actually,
he must do.
Yeah,
he must get to pick and choose, though.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
He's not crawling through fucking mud and then trying to work out a sum, but he's doing this one.
I'll leave this one, guys. You guys have a go. A Lamborghini? Yes.
Yeah. But do you not feel like TJ could do that, though? He'd be like, "There's no point me trying that because you wouldn't get enough footage. I'd do it like that, guys, because I'm TJ fucking Lavin." Yeah, you are TJ Lavin.
How much would you love it if, like, when people get in a fight or something, it's like, right, you have you're going straight into elimination. And there's a BMX bike there, and it's against me. It absolutely ruins them. Like TJ is the ultimate trump card in this game. Oh my God, this episode gives us nothing to talk about.
Yeah, but you know what? It's nice to talk about TJ Lavin.
Yeah, no, maybe because we TJ Lovin.
George has won the podcast. Good job signing off. I mean, I've broken this down into the heats for flashpoints. CT and the Clown versus Ashley and Josh. Ashley thinks that goggles are a necklace. CT thinks that him and the Clown lack communication. Ashley and Josh win the heat. Anything you want to talk about in that one?
I think he would happily at some point have Burner thrown in. Not by him, but he's going to let somebody else do it for him at some point.
Yeah. Although very similarly, it's probably relatively similar to him and Amber B. Like, as long as someone doesn't completely screw CT over, he can win a final with them. It's kind of all she oh my God, this is going to be like work. She's a minimum viable product for what he needs to win a final. So I don't think he really cares. I was pretty impressed by Ashley and Josh, to be fair. Like, did quite well.
So Josh came up with the theory and the strategy for this. And when he did it, I went, wasted time. Because he was like, "I'm going to remember 3 numbers and Ashley's going to remember 1 number." You don't need to remember all 4 numbers. You need to work out 3 of the numbers, and then the other one you just keep clicking.
Yeah, because Bananas did that in Dirty 30, didn't he? And that's how he got them through the smashing out, like where you have to scratch the black paint off a window, and then Bananas there. Yeah, Levi, good point. That means they do definitely have to memorize a key, though. That'll be it, won't it?
Yeah,
I don't really understand this challenge.
I also thought it was weird that he decided to do it 3 and 1 anyway, because it's not even. And he was like, "Yeah, she's really good at memory, so I'm going to make her remember 1 thing."
Yeah, also,
Josh is in charge of the team because Josh is really good at the challenge and Big Brother Alliance. Yeah, guys.
Either way, they did well, and they beat CT and Bella.
Yeah,
they did clown and CT. She is a clown all episode.
Oh god, what? We'll get to that. I really like Berna though. Anyway, then we got Emmanuel. By the way, did you laugh earlier because Ryan pronounced Emmanuel correctly? Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
We got Emmanuel and Casey, who I don't know if you know this, she's in the Big Brother Alliance, and they go against Corey and Bettina. Bettina does a confessional saying if they lose, Corey will blame it on her, and then she does her laugh.
Really, the only reason they give her any screen time is
it's
to do
literally all she adds to the season. That and allegedly, according to Amanda, a blowjob for Fessy in the toilet. Allegedly, according to Amanda. Emmanuel and Casey win the heat. Emmanuel wants to protect Emmy, therefore, because I like Emmy, I like Emmanuel.
I just like Emmanuel because he's quite cool.
Yeah, Eman did very well.
Corey and Emmy both again tell us that Emmanuel is really good.
Yeah.
What's it called? Second person
visibility.
Yeah.
He's had loads of that this season.
Tons.
He's had more than showing us he's good. He's done well in it. He's done well in every daily, but we've been told he's good more than we've seen him be good.
Yeah. But you know what I like as well? He doesn't tell us he's good.
No, true.
Like, you know how Fessy's like, yeah, I'm really fucking good at this game. Whereas Emmanuel just lets his minions tell us.
Yeah, I really like him. He's a very big threat. I'd be shocked if someone doesn't take a shot of him as soon as they can.
Well, he wanted to win this because he wants to protect Emmy in this game, and knowing that Huey and Emmy, if they don't win, are going in. If he wins, he's able to give her who she wants, essentially. And we've got Huey and Emmy up next. They're going up against Devin and Amber. Devin basically says the only team that can't win is Huey and Emmy. So if they win this heat, everyone needs to pay them back accordingly. What's really nice is that Huey's loving it. He feels like Batman and also Rose from the Titanic. And I'm not sure how they are similar. And it also makes me think that he's going to drop Emmy off the car and to her death. Because isn't that what Rose did to Jack?
I mean, didn't quite drop him, but, didn't...
She let go.
Yeah.
Although, she made it seem like Jack let go because they put in the Frankenstein voice, don't let go, Jack. Oh, you've let go. No, you let go. You let go, bro. You know what you did.
Oh, poor Leo.
It's crazy that I remember that. I've not seen Titanic for about 23 years. When I was 11, it was a 12 rated movie. Oh, rebel.
I did like how Emmy was like having a go at Huey.
I have a theory that maybe Huey was trying to throw the game. I'm not saying that they would have won anyway, but he talked earlier about the fact that they needed to, disband and find new partners. I mean, I don't necessarily want to jump ahead, but I'm going to. When they go back to the house after the challenge...
Classic Ryan.
Yeah. Right. He again is like, well, we didn't want to win anyway. We wanted to split up. So I don't know that he didn't do that on purpose.
Yeah, but if that's true, I don't like it.
No, because you want to win and keep yourself safe for another week.
Yeah, you've almost got like a free, basically like when you got, this is not going to translate, having a free hit in cricket.
Oh my God.
You're speaking to
Hello, Nicaragua.
All right, a free hit in baseball. Don't know if that's a thing, but they know we're going in. You should try something exceptionally weird to give yourself an advantage and see if you can take it there. Like it's a no pressure scenario. I don't like just accepting defeat, but then I don't know if Huey would do that. I would like not to think Huey would do that.
Well, we haven't actually said who won that heat, so we're all jumping ahead of ourselves. But yeah, Devin and Amber won the heat.
Yeah, Devin and Amber.
Yeah.
Damber.
Damber. Oh, I'll take Damber. I prefer Devba.
Oof.
Nah. Or Amin.
Ambin. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway.
Speaking of kind of random names that we don't hear much about, Jeremiah, he's up next with Big T. Has he been in the show for the last 5 episodes other than A Kiss with Amber?
He's basically just seems very, very relaxed, and people are just like, if he's at risk of going down, he's like, cool, throw me in, which I quite like. But he's the least developed rookie, by not physically. Fuck me.
Just his personality. We don't know him. We don't know him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, certainly one's left.
You'd think as well, like, because he hooked up with Amber last week, they'd do something about that. But yeah, it's anyway, he's with Big T. We like Big T. They're going against Hot Logan and Nanny. So basically, George's least favorite partnership. And I love that bit at the beginning. I just love the relationship that the Brits have, where like Big T's really worried and Carl's just pissing himself at Big T on the top of the car.
Yeah, you should be careful though, because that backfired on him last season, where he was really laughing at her jumping out the blade, and then he jumped out and they just superimposed his scream as he was coming, as he was still like 700 meters up in the air.
Oh, good old Daddy Kyle. He's the daddy. And I think this was one of the ones that they did in a kind of montage way. Logan and Nanny won the heat. George wasn't happy about it, obviously, because he hates them both. And speaking of people that you hate, George, it was Fessy and Esther up next versus Nelson and Priscilla.
Fester is a terrible combination name.
Let's call him Uncle Fester.
Yeah.
Oh, copyright. And they're going against Nelson and Priscilla. Can I just ask? I thought this episode, I don't feel like we've really seen much of Nelson since episode 1.
He had his boot camp in episode 2, but then apart from that, and then it was very, very heavy on Nelson though for the first 3 episodes. They tend to do that. Like last season was very heavy on CT for the first couple, and then he drifted off for like the next 3 or 4. It's not. I don't think there's much to read into there.
And we don't know Priscilla either, which is a shame because I like her. The little bits we see of her, I like her because I think she's really intelligent and she reads the game well, but we don't really see her doing it, if that makes sense. What do you think, Rye?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say with Nelson, it seems that the Ashley and Berner beef has died down, so that's part of the reason we haven't seen much of him. And obviously,
I forgot about that.
Well, there you go. She just seems to have accepted that he's with her because obviously, again, I'm not going to jump ahead, but she seems to have accepted that that's what's happening. So his drama's gone, and he continues to be terrible at dailies, apparently.
This is 40 in a row, isn't it? That he's lost.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was in Brian's article. I think he's now crossed that threshold. That's
bad.
He should have gone the full Abram and gone for the threesome with both of them. That would cement him in challenge legend. That's why Abram. I just love Abram actually.
Which one of them would be the Veronica? Ashley.
Yeah, she's not. Veronica's no clown.
No.
Shut up, Berner.
Yeah, I like Berner. She's lovely. Really like Berner. And then we have
a clown.
Then we have Fessy and Esther won that heat, by the way. Nothing happened. It was in the montage. And then Ed and Tori versus the Dream Team, Heaven and Hell, the Angel and the Devil, Big Daddy and Little Mummy. Made that one up. Kyle and Amanda. And what we learned from this heat is that Ed likes to spin himself on chairs and make himself dizzy for fun.
That I really enjoyed. He's such a child.
I love it.
Wee!
Could you imagine if we had Ed on the podcast and I had to try and edit? Oh my god! I've got to try and edit.
God, I actually
stop, George. George, you're going to throw up. You've probably had loads of alcohol already. If you haven't, then I think you're probably ill. Because I worry if you don't drink. Do you know what I thought was really interesting and what none of the other teams did? Kyle, when he got the lock off, just passed it to Amanda so she could see the code, which I thought was an interesting tactic. Everyone else was trying to yell the code to each other.
Is it quicker to yell the code to each other?
Not if you can't hear each other when you're drifting.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, that's also weird considering when they had the walkie-talkies, those two decided to scream at each other.
And
that's
a fair point.
In one where everyone else screamed at each other, they didn't.
the next challenge, Amanda's going to speak to Kyle in Morse code, and then semaphore, and then smoke signals. They just hate standard communication.
They just speak to him in Geordie. It's what he understands. But no, I just thought that showed some great intelligence from Kyle, which I'm sure he's going to pass on to crew. It's a very lucky baby, that. But yeah, so there are 3 teams that did it fastest. Josh and Ashley, Casey and Emmanuel, and Fessy and Esther, or as we like to call them, the Broken Big Brother Alliance. But only one team can win and become the agency. Power couple. So let's head down to TJ to find out. So a win for Casey and Emmanuel in the mission. And back at the house, Huey asks Emmy if they were good partners, and she says, no, you were shit. It's good to be honest, and I think Huey would appreciate the honesty. Yeah. You know, he's that kind of guy. But he basically says what you said earlier, Ryan, which was, well, there was no point of us winning because we need to go in elimination and get new partners. He knows they're being voted in. It's as obvious as a Dalmatian having spots. That Cruella de Vil reference is back, isn't it, George?
Cruella de Vil. Yeah. Good. I like his. I'm all here for his Disney references. Maybe that's a game in the off season. Which challenger is which Disney character?
Who'd be Moana?
Emmy, she sings. Oh, they all sing, don't they?
Yeah. Aren't most Disney films musicals?
Yeah. Realised that halfway through. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll do that as a roundtable episode. Anyway, what do we think of this? It goes back to what kind of Ryan was saying, which is maybe through it. But then George was like, well, I don't like that. It's defeatist, but is it not a tactic? It's a risky tactic, but it's a tactic nonetheless.
It's not really risky. It's actually the opposite because you're not taking any risk.
Well, you are, because if you try and win the challenge, then you're not getting thrown in.
Yeah, true.
The thing is, if you win a challenge, you don't go in. So it doesn't really matter what the tactics are outside of that, or who's going to throw you in, or what. If you win, you're not going in. End of story. You last another week. If you then eventually you're going to go in and get the chance to get a new partner, in theory. And if you don't, that means you keep winning. So therefore, you're good enough to win a final with that person. So I guess it's just what you think that you can actually do.
I just find like this season and last season where you could switch up partners, it just causes all that like weirdness and people being like, oh, let's try and go in so I can get rid of them. And it's like, no, try and avoid it so you get to the final and you win the final. But if they do go in and they win, they would get to pick any other people to pair up with, except for the agents, power couple, which is Casey and Emmanuel. They're having a chat on the balcony. And Casey says that, you know, they should listen in to what people have to say. And Emmanuel says, well, can we put the weakest players into elimination because I want to save Emmy. But Casey wants to stick with her vet alliance, but decides to show a teeny weeny bit of personality by saying, I wonder who's going to take the first shot, almost insinuating that she will, even though she won't. And the first shot already got taken by Fessy, which is what I think Ryan's saying with that face.
Yeah, that's my point. Wonder who'll take the first shot. You fucking mate has.
And I thought the deal was, if the vet that takes the first shot is the vet that they're all going to go after. But no, it was like the vet took the shot and they were like, oh, well, we'll let Josh be pissed off with that while we continue our little like fuck up the rookies game.
Thing is, though, most of these guys, there's no one like who's hot-headed enough at the moment to take the shot back at Fessy, because he's won 2 dailies. Like he's arguably good. You don't want to piss him off. And there's no one brave. Like last season, he basically did grievous bodily harm to Corey's best mate. Corey vowed revenge and did fuck all. And
then he did actual grievous bodily harm to the K-Dog.
Yeah, she did break his finger. But yeah, so like, I don't care. I mean, you can't trust what these people say. They're all snakes. They're all cowards. Someone do something.
Well, do you know who could be doing something? And that could be Jeremiah, because he's talking with Big T and he does say, look, you know, I'm the only male rookie that hasn't been put in yet. He says he's got a good relationship with Casey and Emmanuel, but it's not tripping. You know, he's just chill about it. He's just chilling. And Big T basically said, look, you know, if you go in and you win, I won't be offended if you don't pick me as a partner. Or I might. She's so cheeky. I like Big T. She's cute. What do we think of Jeremiah? I don't really know him. I know we've said this before.
At the moment, I have nothing to base an opinion on. He
has muscles and earrings. That's all I know about him.
I think he's not embarrassed himself in a daily, but he's not excelled. Yeah, he's not pissed anyone off. No one seems to absolutely adore him. Middle of the road there. I think he's just very, very relaxed and doesn't really care.
But I think the fact that you said before, like that he got with Amber last week, and then we don't really see anything from him this week, like just shows kind of. I mean, that in itself shines a light on the fact that maybe he's, I don't know, he's just so middle of the road that even that doesn't make him that exciting.
Yeah, maybe he's getting like the Michi edit from last season, which is basically like no screen time. Even Michi got a couple of goofy confessional. I can't remember one confessional from Jeremiah.
I don't think, has he had? Yeah.
I swear this week was his first confessional. We can. The best place to check for that is either Reddit or at Challenge Stats over on Instagram. They're really good for stuff like that.
Challenge Stats, he's just such an asset to the subreddit.
Could be a she.
No, it's a he.
Oh, okay. Well, it is a he then.
Actually, is it?
No, it might be a she.
Probably tell me. Yeah, sorry. Actually, I shouldn't have seen that one.
Could be a they.
You go with a they.
Let's not assume it'll make an ass out of you and me. But yeah, good old Jeremiah, just there being wallpaper.
I mean, I think he's right in this situation, isn't he? And it's the same with the girls also talk about that they might go in because they've not been in. And it's the reason that Huey got voted in was because that he'd been coasting with his vet partner. And it's the same for Jeremiah, and it's the same for Priscilla, and it's the same for Esther. And obviously she's not been coasting because she's won dailies. But
she's really good, Esther, I think.
Yeah, but it's the same like theory as why Huey got put in was because he was with a vet, so he's being protected. Well, they're all the same as well, so they're all right.
But do you know what annoys me? Because of this whole like Vets Alliance go after the rookies, there's so many vets that are just coasting. Like Tori's done fuck all. She's not even really played a game. Nelson's done fuck all. Corey's done fuck all.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I hope there's something that changes the game so we don't have to keep going with this whole vets win, put in the rookie, putting some rookies against them, make another rookie team, vets win. It's just, I kind of think it's ruining the game. It's basically turned into total madness after you.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a skull.
Yeah.
So you're not even, I'm hoping that I'm actually still really enjoying this season. This was the first episode that disappointed me. I think that's quite obvious. I've been a bit of a bitch about it, but I
take it up on the bingo card.
Yeah, I've been bitchy quite a lot this season. I'm really hoping
you're a proper little bitch.
I really was. I was so hungover. I hope the back end of this season just is what accelerates it, and we get something. That's all I can really hope.
Well, I mean, talking of rookies, we've got Priscilla and Esther, as you said, Ryan. They're kind of talking about, well, we've not been in. Bettina's not been in. Priscilla's a bit like Jeremiah, not had much screen time. A lot of her confessionals have just been her running down TJ's explanation of the rules. And she says, look, I call myself the silent assassin. I'll continue to fly under the radar. I thought assassins kill people. They don't just fly under the radar. Am I wrong?
You're right. But do we know she hasn't killed people? I don't know what happened to Lauren and Nam.
I think we do, but we're not meant to talk about it. And it had nothing to do with Priscilla.
Well, the sign of a good assassin.
Do you think she pushed Anissa off the wall?
Go back and have a look.
How are you at Photoshop, Levi? Oh yeah, actually, you're really good. You got with the petty thing. Prick.
I do like, though, I really like Priscilla, and I feel like we're getting little glimpses of her understanding the game and little glimpses of her wanting to do game moves, but then we don't see anything. And I think this is the problem with, I keep going on about it with this Vets Alliance, is either the rookies are going, they're cannon fodder and they don't really matter, so they're giving them silly edits like Gabbo, or the ones that you're quite interested in, we're just not seeing anything.
Which, yeah, she's being held back by her being with a vet.
Got you.
George won't get this, but every time Ryan says a vet, you know what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
We both know someone called Yvette, so every time he says Yvette, I keep thinking he's saying Yvette. Anyway, George, say what you're going to say.
I kind of worked that out. That was not really a code. Speaking of real friend banter, Ryan, will you tell us an embarrassing story about Levi?
So Ashley dresses Emmy up in a red dress.
The Satan Sisters is quite a good bit to come out of this episode, to be fair. I can't believe no one's coined them that yet.
I love that they call their room the Wicked Witch Wing of the West.
Yeah, that was also very good. Lots of alliteration in there. I know you're a fan of alliteration, Levi.
I fucking love alliteration.
Also,
it needs to be used in real speech.
While they're calling themselves the Satan Sisters and saying that they live in the Wicked Witch Wing West. No, anyway.
The WWW of the W.
Yeah, that's a full-on Nelson right there. But what they're doing, they're actually being really nice cheerleaders for their mate. It's really lovely.
It is quite lovely.
Not on their Instagram lives, they're not.
That's true.
I did like the way that Emmy just looked at it and was like, "This is like a T-shirt."
You know, the awkward thing is I've gone out in a dress like that before.
Oh, that is classic, George. Oh, that's going on the new bingo card for next week.
I wore that dress. Yeah, I got back from New Year's Eve and someone had ripped my German Umper costume off. And so my friend gave me a red dress to wear. And then my friend felt left out, so he put one on too. And then we danced on the kitchen. It's very weird New Year's. I've even played beer pong with potpourri. Very, actually, what the hell was I doing? Anyway,
sometimes, George, I worry about you.
Nah, don't. I've survived a lot of things. I just get bored really easily. And I look great in a backless red dress.
I think maybe you should just go for a kind of full body checkup just to check your insides are all right. If you're doing beer pong with potpourri, mate.
Oh, I didn't swallow it.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Sorry, I just got very worried.
I only swallow when Huey's on the podcast. No, sorry, throwing potpourri, like throwing bits of the potpourri instead of ping pong balls if you can find it. Anyway,
okay, that makes more sense. Well, Emmy wears a lovely red dress, and they all head off to. Can we all do it? 1, 2, 3. Club night. No, we can't. So
harder with 3.
It is. It was. We couldn't do it with 2, so we can barely do it with 1. So CT introduces Emmy for the challenge unplugged, and Emmy sings her new song, which conveniently also got released this week, the same week she's plugging it on the challenge. What are the chances of that? I'm starting to feel like Emmy was never on Survivor, and she's just a Romanian rapper that MTV wants to get behind. But the challengers love it. Emmy's so happy. The song's called Alien, and I think now would be a good time, George, for a certain segment we normally put in at the beginning.
Yeah, so give us your review of Alien then. Emmy's ETPs, basically.
Very nice. So, as you know, every week I review one of our favorite Romanian rapper, Emmy Lupe's tracks. You'll be able to hear it in the background on the Instagram, but not on the YouTube because we've had enough copyright flags and I don't want any more. Here it is, Alien by Emmy Lupe. And do you know what my favorite thing is about this song, George, compared to the others?
No, do tell me.
I understand every fucking word of it because it's in English. It was written by...
I think we lose a bit of the mystique.
Weirdly, this one isn't about someone called Montana.
You know. But do you know what's interesting? Because she said she wrote it in the Challenge House, didn't she? Written by Emmy Lupe, George Hora, Mixie Mark Antonio. Now, George Hora, Mixie Mark Antonio, I've done some digging, and they are the pseudonyms of one Devon Walker and Kyle Christie.
Really?
No, of course not.
I was really hoping that was true. Sorry, I'm so trusting.
Classic George, trusting everything I say. So, you know, we heard her do the hook. I'm an alien, I'm an alien. I feel so alone right here. I'm an alien, I'm an alien. Wish I could disappear. I'm drowning in my fear. I'm drowning in my fear. Now, That's the hook. Very nice. It brings you in. You start to feel for Emmy. Why does she feel like this alien? Who has been outcasting her the whole time? George, this is the best bit of the podcast. Come on, pay attention.
So I'm looking for the photo of me in the dress.
Oh, okay. Yeah, send it to me later. I'll put it in the edit. But then she goes from her singing. Because when I first heard it, and this is the genuine truth, I wasn't 100% sure that she was the person singing the bit at the beginning, because I've always known Emmy as a rapper. But when she sung it there on the challenge, and twice on the challenge aftermath with the wonderful Devon Simone, I was like, that was her. Then she moves into her rapping. Stop telling me that. I'm a clown. So I think she's rapping about Burner here. I'm a queen without a crown. It's not my place. It makes me gross. I'm a freak or something close. I'm out of suit. I'm out of dough. I'm out again, but I have to go. I'm going to split you mozzarella, smooth killer like Nutella. I'm a sort of psychopath. Check back take when back take. You were playing Santana. Shovel up, I throw gasoline, and then something about Valhalla, which I don't know what that is. Anyway, that's just a bit of the lyrics. Just it feels good to be able to read them and understand what she's actually saying. I really like it as a song, and I feel, and I'm going to say this, and I don't care about the backlash. It's like a 2021 version of Bad Romance by Lady Gaga.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. In a way, the melody-ish.
The melody, the breakdown, the hook, the rapping. I also like that it sounds like it's got kind of Turkish music in the background.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, I can't play it because if this goes on YouTube, then we'll get copyright flagged, as I said, but you'll hear it in the background. But yeah, I bloody love this song. I'm becoming quite the Emmy Alupe fan. George, what have you listened to it, George?
No.
Okay.
I like to get my reviews directly from you.
Do you ever listen to them afterwards?
Nah.
Oh, you must do. You watch the clips. I send you the clips, and then it's in the background. You don't even watch the clips, do you?
No, I listen to the full podcast.
Yeah, I need to do that sometime. But yeah, no, I really like it. I'm becoming quite the Emmy Alupe fan. I'm a huge fan of this song. I like the fact in the video there's like TV screens and it's got the challenge on it. So maybe you should watch the video, George, because it might be an episode that you haven't seen.
Okay.
And yeah, I just think I'm a big fan. I also like that all the cast have got behind it this week. I think Devin, Fessy have changed their little Instagram pictures to aliens. Yeah, big up Emmy Alupe. Great song. More songs in English, although I do fucking love the Romanian rap. I'm putting
the subreddit done the same.
You can't spin to this one, I don't think, Levi.
I can definitely spin to this. This is one of the Levi challenges for the end. Put together a spin class with only Emmy Alupe tracks and then do it while we're doing the podcast.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
But yeah, no, I am a huge fan, and yeah, great, has international appeal. Move over Doja Cat, whoever that is. I saw it on Google. In comes Alupe. Hashtag Emmy. Hashtag I'm an alien. Hashtag Emmy's EPs.
Who's the number one Romanian rapper?
Emmy Alupe.
No, by sales or listens.
Oh, Count Dracula.
Of course it is.
Yeah, very.
Do you know what I can see happening as well? Is Emmy like performing and Emmanuel being a backup dancer?
Well, that's what they say in the challenge.
He said he was going to do a video for her at some point.
Yeah.
Do you know who should be the other backup dancer? Because we know he can fucking dance.
Ed.
Spin him on a chair and let him go.
Oh my God, that's the one I'll watch. When Ed's in the background spinning on a chair, that'll be the first Emmy music video I watch. Whee!
I was going to say, from an episode point of view, her singing this, obviously take out the cynical, she's just trying to sell more EPs, which is almost certainly what she's doing. But she's basically saying during the episode that
you all treat me like shit.
Well, yeah, well, no, not necessarily that they're treating her like shit, but just that the song represents her emotions and her mental health. And actually, I think from that point of view, it's nice that, again, that we're talking about the way that they show a gay relationship. The way that they're showing this is actually quite nice. It's not something that we see that often. Obviously, we see people having breakdowns and stuff. We don't necessarily see people actually talking about their emotions, about feeling lonely, even around friends and stuff like that. So that's, again, quite a nice, positive spin on that kind of thing. It's nice that it's good that she gets that chance to do it. Obviously, taking away the cynical side.
Yeah. I find her really interesting because I think she's a really complex character.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really like Emmy, and Tori loves Emmy because Tori wants to get into the music industry. Fessy sings the melody, which was uncomfortable for everyone, and Emmy is like a little sister to Berner, even though they've only known each other for about a month. Clown,
fucking clown.
Yeah.
Also, Ryan, by the way, nice take. I enjoyed that. Yeah, actually, maybe like the episode a bit more. Sorry, I'm not being very helpful with this podcast.
Well, it's every week. Next, sorry, I love you, George. I love you. I couldn't do this without my partner in crime, without my co-host, without my ally. Yes, it's George. Speaking of partners in crime, allies, Josh and his new girlfriend Esther are talking for only the second time in the world. And Josh is being flirty. Oh, Fessy's ego is rubbing off on you. You come to me, I'll keep you in check. And Josh is like, oh, you helped me disconnect from the game. They have a little kiss, and then Esther's like, yeah, I need to think with my head. Stupid thing that I'm doing right now. Are we moving on because we feel creeped out?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to George's best friend. It's only bloody Fessy, because he runs down everything that's going on with the Big Brother Alliance. It's messy, because he's Fessy. And this begins the slow descent and the disintegration of everything that's happening within the Big Brother Alliance, and makes us forget that this is an episode of The Challenge, a competition show, because Amber tells Emmanuel she's not spoken to Fessy since he did what he did. And she says she feels Esther may have been involved in the blind side. Ooh, foresight, Edgic, Jake.
I don't get this. Like, why is she turning on Esther when it's clearly Fessy? Esther had no motivation to blindside her. Fessy had a problem with her from last season. I don't get, why is she taking this take?
I mean,
Ryan, help me out.
Well, the only thing I can think of is, again, to go back to not even this week's aftermath, actually, last week's aftermath.
With the wonderful Devon Simone.
Sorry. Amber did say that her and Fessy had a conversation before he sent her in where everything seemed fine. So
we saw that. We saw that on the show.
Yes, yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, I'd forgotten that, to be honest. There you go. So obviously, she obviously thinks that everything was fine with Fessy. So I guess she's just trying to find another way to find logic to why she went down.
Now, this is the first time Fessy said something and done something completely different.
Well, yeah,
that's not like Fessy.
No. That's
so introverted.
This was a bit I didn't understand about Amber this episode. I don't know why she's looking for another enemy when he's the biggest guy in the house and right in front of you.
Can I just say though, like from Fessy's point of view, and I'm not taking his side because I love Amber, but there's no point him making up with Amber because he's already made an enemy of her. So why make up with her and then throw someone else in and have two enemies? Because even when they make up, there's still going to be that underlying tension. Yeah, why not just leave it, let her hate you, and then just keep throwing her in when you're in power, and therefore you're not making enemies of anyone else? Maybe that's his thinking, because he does say that she's going to take a shot at him if she wins, and he doesn't really feel like it's worth fixing.
It's the point that gets brought up on the Bananas podcast, is like when he threw in Amber, every other girl in the house was pushing him to do it.
Yeah, because they're probably scared of her because she's the bloody champ. But do you know who else gets involved in all this, who has absolutely no right fucking cartwheeling into this shit? Is Bertha. bloody birth, she's sitting with Esther, and then suddenly they just like go on this absolute tirade about Amber, saying how fake she is, how annoying she is. Now, we've sat down with Amber doing a podcast, and we chatted with her afterwards on Zoom, and she was exactly how she is. And we are not important enough to anyone's life other than our families for her to come on a podcast with two British idiots and try and fake a personality. Like, she's genuine. Why is this like, why are Esther and Bertha the clown being all like, oh, she's fake, she's annoying? She's not. She's genuinely lovely, and she just happens to be someone who's an emotional person who I think is now in a very good place, and she's being happy about it. That doesn't make her fake. It just makes her enjoying life at the moment.
Yeah. Get fucked, Esther and Berna.
Can I give you 2 quotes that are about 3 minutes apart in this episode?
God, yes. I love the fact you've taken notes. You're brilliant.
Yeah. George, let's see your notes.
You're right. Your running order. It's on my other screen.
Esther to Josh. I'm actually really nice. 3 minutes later, Esther to confessionals. She's really fake. She keeps saying she's nice. Nice people don't say they're nice.
Ryan, yes, that's my favourite bit of the episode now, is you pointing that out. So who's the fake bitch now, Esther?
Yeah. So she says she's really nice, but nice people don't say they're nice. So presumably she's not actually nice.
Well, she doesn't come across nice in this scene with Bertha the clown.
The math checks out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, stop being horrible, you bitches. They're not bitches. That's horrible. They're lovely. Stop being horrible, you bitches. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is an example of how you can contradict yourself in one sentence. And that's what I want to show to you. You shouldn't do, or else you lose your integrity. So I'm going to re-say that sentence, which is, just be nice and stop being so horrible to Amber, you two absolutely beautiful and wonderful ladies, Esther and Berna.
Bitches!
That was George.
A little bit of the Rona.
Don't. We can't. I'm sure YouTube do stuff if you say that. But yeah, it was unnecessary. Berna had nothing to do with it, so I don't know why she's getting involved. I can understand Esther not liking her because Amber's obviously got an issue with Esther and Fessy, and maybe someone told her that she said that. But like, Berna, just go jump on Nelson and piss off. But the thing is, I really like Berna. She's a really good competitor and she seems really sweet, but not right now. I don't. We've fallen out, me and Berna.
She was speaking when you first called her a clown. Was that when she was being rude about Amber B last week?
No, we were just joking about the fact she was in the circus.
Yeah, there was a react. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, why does she? The only scene I remember them being in is when Ashley is going off on Berna, calling her Bertha, and Amber just goes, "Isn't her name Berna?"
Yeah, if anything, she's defending her.
Yeah, that's actually the only time we see them interact before this.
Yeah, if we've learned anything this season, it's that the producers and the editors are just giving us random scenes here and there that will only last for an episode, that we weren't given backstory to, that we're never going to see again. Last week, Amber thinking Jeremiah's good looking. Oh, suddenly Jeremiah just doesn't talk anymore. He's back to being wallpaper. Josh and Esther, never spoken in their lives before. Getting off with each other.
It's awkward enough, the other 2 occasions we brought it up this week. Enough.
Who else? What are the other ones?
If we combine Josh and Esther, they become Jester, and they could be friends with the clown.
Oh, there we go. Can I ask you something, George? You remember when we did the Devon podcast, Devon Walker, Not Wonderful, Devon Simone, and you were absolutely smashed?
Patchily.
Did you need to eat food when you were done to try and sober up?
Yeah, Ed sent me to the shop to come back with food, and I came out with like 6 packets of crisps and an apple.
Do you know what you should have come back with, George?
I should have come back with some oven pizza.
I think you should have come up with some oven pizza. But if Ed was making the pizza, I think what you should have done is said, please, can I use the oven next? And fully called shotgun on the pizza. Because Amber did call shotgun on the oven and on the pizza. And I just want to make that clear. Kyle, Josh, Devin, and Jeremiah are playing pool in the other room. I feel like Kyle and Devin are just hustling everyone out of money.
Yeah, that's probably true, actually. Maybe that's a big yeah.
Well, Kyle's got kids now, so he's got to pay for the kid. But anyway, so that's very important, by the way. I didn't just throw that in because fucking hell, shit is going to hit the fan. Someone has eaten Amber's pizza, and she's pissed. And Bertha does a catty confessional because she's potentially showing her true colours this week. And do you know who loves to stir up shit? Who loves to get involved when it's nothing to do with her? Because she's bored now and Issa's gone. It's Tori. And do you know what rhymes with Tori? Corey, because he can stir some shit as well. So Tori basically lies and yells to Amber that Fessy ate her pizza because she's bored and thinks it's going to be funny. And Fessy says, well, you should know that they're lying because you saw me put my pizza in the oven. And then Fessy says, let's leave the conversation at pizza because he knows what Tori's trying to turn this conversation into. And Amber says, this is bigger than pizza. What's bigger than pizza? I'll tell you what's bigger than pizza. Fucking blindsides. And she actually says, this is better than pizza, but I did think she meant bigger than pizza. So I wrote in the running order, Amber says this is better than pizza, but then I fucked up and put, think she means better. No, I think she means bigger. Anyway, now the conversation turns into her telling Fessy she was annoyed at the blind side. And Tori and Corey are still stirring shit up with the whole stand up if you're being fake. Fessy rises from his seat. I mean, I'm basically running everything down point by point. So if you guys want to jump in at any point and make comments, feel free.
Oh, cool. Sorry. Usually you breathe. I thought we were just getting a like blow by blow account. I was enjoying it.
Do you want me to keep going with the blow by blow and we talk about it all in one hit before the fight? Before the hit?
Well, I think we might jump in throughout actually.
Okay, shall I go to the
I don't want to go back through it, mate. Once it's going to be painful enough.
Do you want me to go to the next bit?
Yes,
Anyone
please.
got comments at this point? Okay. Amber calls for Josh. And then Devin wins the episode with his confessional saying, don't grab Josh, leave him, barricade him in, hit him with a fucking tranquilizer dart. That's what we need to do to Josh. This isn't going to end well.
So that would be a great next daily. Everyone gets a tranquilizer gun and they just set Josh free. And whoever tranks him first gets to be the agency. Power couple.
Do you know what I love? I just love that Devin, even after a night out, is still focused on the game, but he's focused on actually getting the game right as opposed to the messy side of the game. And he knows that if Josh enters that room, that whole free ride that Devin's got at the moment with basically using Josh as his shield.
Plug into the Big Brother alliance. Yeah.
But also just his shield on anything. Like, oh shit, something's going to happen. Josh, I think you should say something about it. And then Josh suddenly becomes the target. As soon as Josh enters the room to get involved in this, the fucking game's up, isn't it?
Yeah. But before we jump into that, Ryan, you've recently binged almost every season that Corey's been on.
Yes.
That actually helps with this. Does he add anything to the game for you through this season?
No, up to now, but I think he's the MVP of this segment. Absolutely. I mean, I know that, Devin's line is the funniest, but Corey's reactions are the best, even better than Nelson just munching on pizza. But his reactions are the best. His stirring it up is the best. Him just like telling Josh, go on, go, like get him kind of thing. Like he is absolutely running the show in this segment for me. Just everything is on point. His facial expressions are just absolutely amazing.
So his hair's looking great at the moment as well.
So there's a really good point someone made on the Reddit though, is that Corey now can't really do much. He's a dad, he can't do his standard hookup thing on the show. He can't really get into fights being a dad. The only thing he can do is stir up drama. And there's been no opportunity but to do it this season yet, has there? Really?
No. This is the thing that he needed, isn't it?
Yeah, because he couldn't have done it with Ashley, Clown, and Nelson because it's Nelson who's his best mate. He's not going to make that worse. He spied on a couple of people in the first episode and then dropped them in it, which I found quite funny. I think his game now is... Sorry, Fessy, Amanda, and then was there someone... Yes, he overheard someone saying in the gym, we need to throw in all the vets as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
That was Corey. So all of his stuff is eavesdropping and stirring shit up, which is ironic because he started hating bananas, and that was bananas' stick.
Yeah.
Shtick, sorry. And now, yeah, that's really hard to say.
It's a German word like Burner the Clown. And the lovely Nam. Oh, I miss Nam. I hope he's feeling better.
So do I. But yeah, is this going to be Corey's game from now on? Like, literally, will just be there to stir things up and try and like keep himself on the cast that way.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do it on. I guess the difference between him and Johnny is that he's not going to do it on purpose. Like, he's not going to pre-write notes, for example, and drop them in people's rooms. But I guess he is. If he's not winning dailies, then yeah, his thing is going to have to be finding some form of entertainment, some form of drama.
But he's had this thing since he kind of in the trilogy. His whole thing was, I'm going against the big guns. I'm going to be the new young buck on the block. And then when we kind of got into Total Madness and Double Agents and this season, he's very much just to kind of fly under the radar now to get to the final, which actually I think is his best way of doing things.
Well, it's the best way of anyone's, right? It seems that challengers now have to be on a sort of curve, right? Where they have to come on, make a big impression, and instantly, like, be a pivotal part of a storyline to get invited back. I mean, if they want to win, so if this isn't going to work well for the thing. Basically, you start off strong and get more and more arrogant until you're guaranteed that return. And then you tone down your visibility so you can fly under the radar, not get thrown in, get to the final and win. That's Corey's trajectory to an absolute T.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't under the radar last time because he kept having to swap partners. He's basically last season's Emmy.
But that was a great tactic last season because it meant he was never available to be thrown in.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, so I don't know how I feel about Corey at the moment. He's definitely on the highest wage bracket. Is he blocking a more entertaining person coming in? Probably not. He probably adds more than most of the others. I wish he would do something. I really, really want him to, like, I'd like him a lot more if he'd gone toe to toe with Fessy last season after he'd taken up Nelson. Yeah. I like people of their word.
He was all talk about that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Speaking of talk, Amber says to Fessy that he should apologise for blindsiding her, which sets Fessy off. How was that a blindside? Fessy says he told everyone in the house, and Amber says, you told everyone but me. Big T does quite a kind of catty confessional, saying that she fell asleep because Amber's still talking about being blindsided. Like, I love Big T, but this is a bit catty because Big T spent a lot of last season talking about like CT doing her over. So come on, like, have a little bit of, girl to girl sympathy and empathy. And then what we all wanted happens. Here comes Josh. How do you think Devon is feeling right now as Josh enters the room?
Devon's frantically opening every drawer looking for that tranquilizer dart. And my God, just how good of this scene if this would never have happened. But if just out of like left field of camera, a producer just goes here and just passes Devon and done. He just goes up and shoots Josh in the arms.
With a tranquilizer dart.
Yes, with a tranquilizer dart or maybe a rubber bullet. No, tranquilizer dart.
So he would have run, leapt, and just taken Josh out.
Yeah,
oh, that would have been amazing. You just see Devon just fly across the screen.
I feel like if he was in the right position, that's exact. If he'd been in the lounge already and Josh had come in, rather than him being behind Josh going in, that's what he would have done.
That would have been absolute grade A. Do you usually watch Scrubs?
Yes.
No,
you know Johnny, the tackling Alzheimer's patient. He just goes running in and nails it. That is what I wanted to happen. Who am I?
George, I love how every episode, do you watch? I'm like, I don't watch TV. But
every time I listen, and he's like bringing up BoJack a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh yes, definitely.
But right, you know what?
Let's talk after.
Do you know what Devon could have done? that I think could have stopped Josh right in his tracks.
Ask him what 8 times 9 is.
Exactly what I was about to say.
Really?
Yes. Josh, what's 8 times 9? Huh?
Hold on, I need that calculator.
But anyway, so yeah, Josh comes wading in, which means
that is true. He is a pig.
Yes. But yes, so Amber screams and she tells Amber that she.
Were you okay when you were right? Were you okay when you were right? It was running.
I was 23.5 hours into the no food, no drink at this point.
Very
so I think it's quite a good running order. But yeah, so she screams and basically says, look, I didn't know that I was going in. No, Esther screams. It should be Esther screams and tells Amber that she did know she was going in because she had a conversation with Josh. And then Esther does something which I think is actually one of the 2 most disrespectful things that you can do to someone. And she throws a drink in Amber's face. The second one is spitting at someone.
The first one is spitting. Spitting is the worst thing you can do.
No, I mean, the second one is I'm talking about 2, not the order. But yeah, spitting is, but like she throws a drink in Amber's face, which I think is fucking disrespectful and out of order.
So, very dark over here, lads. I'm very sorry.
I was going to say, do you want to turn the light
on? So, is it really that disrespectful? I don't think having a drink thrown in my face would annoy me. Mainly because I have good reactions of it. Free drink.
I remember.
George, I was thinking it's amazing, and I think it's like the American thing that they use the B word as like the worst insult ever, whereas we'll call it everyone.
You can say the words. Which B word? Bastard or bitch?
Bitch. They say bitch.
Oh, Ryan, don't say the words. You'll get us taken off.
As the worst insult. Kind of thought that with the throwing of the water, with the drink. I know what you're saying, Levi, and I know what Amber was saying when she was saying it was really disrespectful. But at the same time, it is only, and actually, Amber deals with it perfectly because she doesn't get angrier, which surprises
her because her argument is with Fessy, and she's like zoned in on Fessy. Everyone else is arguing left, right, and centre. She's got one argument.
Yeah, but Esther's getting really angry, and even after throwing the drink, she's still the angrier of the pair. And you would have thought that Amber would have switched. And normally in those situations, when we've seen people throw the drinks, it does switch, but it didn't at all.
Good point. Like Kyle last season goes from taking the piss, and then Josh throws water at him, and Kyle loses his rag.
Yeah. But Kyle has all that designer clothes. He might melt.
He's not one of the wicked witches of the West Wing. God, that is hard to say.
But Amber says something.
Good point, though, Ryan.
But the thing is, though, this whole like conversation with Josh and Amber saying that wasn't a conversation about Fessy's going to throw me in. It was a partner thing discussing the partnership. And she says she does a confessional saying she's never been disrespected like that by a woman. Esther tries to push Fessy away, tells Amber not to talk to him. Then here we go. Joshy, get in there, brother. Okay. Josh says Amber is wrong. Fessy, no, this is another I've not eaten or drunk. Josh says Esther is wrong. Fessy promised he wouldn't do it, just like he promised Nelson last season. Mic drop.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah, Josh. You tell him, you turn on your number one ally.
Nelson just standing there eating his pizza is just, it's like comedy gold for no real reason, but it's hilarious.
I'm sure there was a moment as well where Ed's at the back going, hey!
There's also a bit where someone is like genuinely trying to either pass the pizza in front of them or just put it in between them because they find it funny.
Yeah. I want to find out who that was.
Yeah, I couldn't see. There's a lot going on in this. I really hope it's not like staged or anything because it's just all the classic.
I feel like they started it off to just entertain themselves, and then Fessy and Josh and Esther and Amber were actually suddenly really riled up about it and taking it really seriously, and everyone else was still taking it as a joke but was trying to diffuse the situation in that way, which was making the situation even worse and pissing them off even more, which leads us to what it leads us to. Let's get to the, as Nelson would say, needy greedy of this fight. So Josh tells Fessy not to touch him, then says that Fessy sucks as a friend, has a big ass ego and is whack. Ooh, big words, Josh. Josh tells Fessy when the rookie game is done, he's going to go in every week. Fessy tells Josh no one can beat Fessy. Josh says Fessy talks a big game, but he hasn't won shit. Josh can say that because Josh did win Big Brother, so he has won something.
Nice.
But then Josh calls Fessy a piece of shit and says he's fucked people over. At this point, someone offers him a whole pizza. The irony is this wouldn't have happened if someone hadn't taken that pizza that they then offered them in the
Amber, I found your pizza. That would be great if someone just shouted that.
But as we're getting down to this needy greedy, we can't do this without a Nelson confessional where he says this is where Fessy got his nickname and then gets the nickname wrong. Messy for Fessy. Oh my god. It's classic Nelson. It's classic Nelson.
Keep us going, mate. Take us home.
Okay, so Josh tells Fessy he's going to go home and he'll never see a final again. Fessy snaps and he pushes Josh in the face, which leads to Josh pushing Fessy's arm away, which connects with the security guy in the face and cliffhanger.
Scene. So, okay, if I was in this fight, I reckon I would have waited till just before they started like pushing each other and just gone, it's now a bad time to admit I ate Amber's pizza.
Like, clip it there.
that
Instagram.
Would have been even better if it was Tory as well.
Yeah.
It was,
that would
be great if it was Tory.
Just like a slow zoom in on her in the corner, just like, this pizza tastes like victory.
I mean, that's a lot to take in. So why don't we know? What the that escalated very quickly, and it very much escalated when Josh entered the room.
Yeah, it did. Good for Josh. Also, agree with a lot of what he said.
Oh yeah,
not to, isn't it?
But like, my feelings on Josh this season is he wants to be friends with everyone. Fessy doesn't and wants to win. Josh thinks that he can still have this core alliance with Fessy and Casey whilst being friends with everyone and having an alliance with everyone. Because if you have an alliance with everyone, you have an alliance with no one. And it's all built up that I feel like Fessy's kind of treating him like little brother, little brother, little brother, in the same way that it kind of built up with Tony quite a lot with Bananas eventually. Yeah. And I think Josh has just snapped. I don't even think it's about him defending Amber at this stage. I think it's about him feeling like he's being little brothered by Fessy the whole time.
Yeah, and also I guess it probably feels like Casey's on Fessy's side more than she's on Josh's. And again, I know that was something that was brought up on the aftermath, but it does seem like with wonderful Devon Simone. But it does seem like if Casey's got to choose, I think that's the difference, isn't it? If she doesn't have to choose, she'll carry on helping Josh as much as she can.
Yeah.
Put in a situation where she's going to have to choose, I think she will go with Fessy, and I don't think that helps Josh. And I think it's part of what has annoyed him is he probably knows that. So
he's the bottom of the alliance for the first time ever.
Yeah, because Amber's not in that alliance at all now. Whereas before she was bottom, now she's not even in it. So that makes him bottom of the alliance.
Yeah, really. But also, I reckon it's a respect thing. Like, Josh, you kind of have to respect Fessy in the game, physically at least.
Yeah.
You don't have to respect Josh, and I don't think Fessy does. And I think Josh does know that. And that, like you described it about the little brother thing, and then add that to it as well. There's underlying resentment, which is now boiled over. Good for Josh for standing up for himself, eh?
Yeah,
but he loves an argument. I'm not even going to go well done standing up for yourself. He always has an argument.
Every season, actually, yeah.
He does it every single season. He got face to face with CT. He is an emotional guy. And do you know what made me emotional? The fact that this was only a 1 hour episode. Our podcast has been doubled the length.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be a quick record, off to bed, night. But yeah, it was only a 1 hour episode. We didn't get an elimination. It ended on a cliffhanger. I think I mentioned a few weeks ago, I think there would be a couple of these ones. Yeah. Let's start with what did we think of the episode? Because I don't think any of us liked it.
I was pretty bored. I mean, I've probably been very, very hard to host on this podcast and probably not fun to be around. So sorry, Levi, sorry, Ryan. But the daily, I think you can do a cliffhanger when the daily is excellent. And the one I always go back to is the War of the Worlds 1 episode, which ends with Kyle calling out Theo for Hall Brawl. That's how you set up a cliffhanger. Because the daily for that, I think, is the Day of Reckoning challenge when Ninja blows up on Turbo. And it's a great, great episode because there's loads that happens. The deliberation and the tribunal is good. Kyle's like injured and you've got this potential redemption arc. And then you're in for an all-time banger next episode. And then you start the episode with a Hall Brawl, which is brilliant.
Yeah. For
this one, we have to then start with the aftermath of the fight, a deliberation, then elimination. Don't even know if we'll get a fucking daily. Sorry, I have feelings.
But the worst thing as well about the first thing that we're getting is the aftermath of the fight is that we're not getting it with the wonderful Devon Simone, which is how we love to get our aftermaths. Well, do you know what I'm going to do for the first time ever on this podcast? Let's break down the trailer for next week.
Oh, sorry, but can we, Ryan, what did you think? I just ranted about it, sorry.
Do you want to turn the light on, George? I can't really see you at the moment.
Yeah. Okay.
And I love seeing your beautiful face because you're the hot one of the podcast.
It really doesn't mean that much, mate.
It does when it comes from Brian.
Oh, damn it. Everyone can now see that I'm wearing exercise shorts and a shirt. This is my standard lounge gear.
What do you think of the episode, Brian?
I totally get the point of it, like being a bit dry. It's so much to do with this like one argument that you like. That's the. I mean, I guess we arguably talked about the other bits more because it's the minutiae and the nuance, but it's all just leading to this one argument. And while it's an exciting ending in a way, you just left feeling a bit empty because you don't get an elimination and you don't get anything and you don't get the aftermath of what happens and you don't get any sort of conclusion to any of the storylines that it builds up. And that is the point of a cliffhanger, but you want something to be resolved usually, and we're none the wiser. So we kind of, I think everyone's just going to be in the same mindset that it's like, okay, that was fine, but now we're just waiting for next week.
Yeah.
Is there a worry that a cliffhanger like this could, wait for it, alienate the audience? Because Emmy's song is called Alien. I did actually, after I watched this episode and then watched the aftermath with the wonderful Devon Simone, watch the video for Alien. I thought it might cheer me up. It didn't. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, what we do know, let's break down the trailer for next week, because I think, weirdly, that's the best thing we could do in these circumstances. So in the trailer for next week, Casey's trying to sort things between Fessy and Josh. Good luck with that, love. Then we are shown what I think is extremely important for us to feel a bit better about the situation, which is that Hall Brawl is going to be the elimination. How on earth are they going to do that with guy-girl pairs?
It'll be one after another. You have different people go home.
Yeah.
Jeremiah versus Fessy.
Could be.
How would that even happen?
Because you can never happen unless you get the house.
It would be Huey versus someone, surely, because Huey's surely getting voted in with Emmy.
Unless the aftermath of this fight leads to a very good deliberation where a vet gets thrown in. I don't think it will, but could do.
Well, we got Hall Brawl to look forward to, which is great. But
I don't want to see Huey in. I don't want to see Huey in a Hall Brawl. I'll worry about him.
I mean, if he's against
Huey's got quite movement. He could like move his way around that Hall Brawl and then.
No, you can't. It's as wide as your shoulders. He'd smash it in the Rivals 2 Hall Brawl. He'd be awesome in that. Well, not awesome, but he's got good agility. He'd be good. He'd probably be much better at balls in.
Oh, the question is though, George.
Shit. I bet
he's our friend.
I bet he loves the pole wrestle.
Oh, please.
Oh, sorry, Huey. That was actually unintentional.
Oh.
You're better than that. You're better than that. You're not. But the question is, are we actually going to get any guys in this hall brawl? Because the most important thing has happened in this trailer. TJ's coming to the house.
I'd love it if TJ came to my house.
And I kind of feel like when it's just a cursory warning, you're on your last chance, he doesn't come to the house. He does it at the mission or he does it at the elimination. He only comes to the house if he's about to get rid of someone. But are we actually being hoodwinked here? And maybe he's coming to the house to take them on the next mission and they've just edited the trailer very well. Do we think TJ is coming to the house to remove Fessy and or anyone else?
I don't think that he's coming to take them to the next challenge.
Yeah.
I do think that there'll be some form of hoodwink, because I'm not convinced that we would necessarily get... We might see him coming in if someone was getting chucked out, but I don't think we'd have him go, you know it's not good when I come in. That seems too on the nose. Maybe I'm being really hopeful.
But he says that every time he goes into the house to get rid of someone.
That's true. And also the reactions of everyone after he's spoken suggest someone's going home, but I just don't know who. I think... Yeah, it's really interesting. I think the fact that the security guard got hit, whether on purpose or... That's what I'm
thinking.
I think that's the difference, isn't it? That's the deal breaker.
That it's a legal thing, isn't it? They're in a position where the security guard could sue. But the thing is, Josh pushed his arm into it, but then you're then going, well, if he hadn't pushed his hand into Josh's face, I'll be honest, I think Fessy's being removed.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, to be honest.
I think Fessy's being removed. Josh and Esther are getting warnings, last chance warnings.
I don't want it to be true, because if that's the standard for getting thrown out, that's so weak. Like,
I know it's not the old standard. Like, do you remember when Vinny Pig attacked the tennis twins when they were playing table tennis? What's his name? The one from Explosion.
Oh, Thomas Buell.
Yeah.
On the Reddit, actually, quite active.
Yeah. Well, when Vinny attacked him, which was worse than this, it was just a last chance thing. But I kind of think they're in a situation now where there's so much money behind the show now, and as Ryan said, the security guard got hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't be great if that's the way it ends, but ultimately I think it's the way it has to.
On a side note, I'd love TJ to come to my house.
Hey, I just said that. I'd let him boot me out of my own house.
It would be the best way to get evicted, I feel.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that'd be... Imagine if, like, you could... I don't know why you would pay for this if you're getting evicted, but to, like, lessen the bad news of being forced to leave somewhere, TJ did an eviction service.
It's like Cameo on crack.
Yeah.
You pay for your favorite people to come and kick you out of the house. Like, the landlord's like, is that TJ Labin? Yeah. Yes. So I've got this guy who's living in my house and it's so messy. What you're telling me is he is a pig. Yes, he is a pig, TJ. Could you come in and turf him out? Yes, I can. I will do that. Comes round. It's never good when I come to the house. And the guy's like, oh my God, it's BMX star and host of the challenge, TJ Lavin. And then he goes, I don't like it when people are disrespectful. So I'm sorry. You're out. See you never. Don't let the door hit you on the arse on the way out.
I either need that.
It's your T-Mobile sidekick.
If I'm ever getting sacked, I need him to do, like when he tells everyone that someone's been, had to go home because they're pregnant or whatever. I need him to do that, but with me being sacked, like line up all my colleagues and just be like, I'm sorry, Ryan's, the agent has been terminated. And by what he means is my contract. My contract's just been terminated.
And then all your colleagues do the classic challenge thing of, there's a lot of clapping when they're in those lines. And that means that we have And on that note, I think it's time to end the podcast. I think we have fully gone off the rails. It's 3 times the length of the episode. George, let's not do Friday night records again. I remember the one we did last season, and we just, yes, it wasn't good. Next week, we are back on Thursday. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Would you like to come back later in the season where it's a better fucking episode?
I would love to come back on a week where there's an actual elimination and I get to talk about elimination.
Well, we would love to have you back, Ryan. You are Verdumf over on the Reddit. You also write a lot of sport articles. Am I allowed to say who you write for?
Yeah, of course.
Ryan works for the Sport Bible. So if you follow the Sport Bible, read Ryan's articles. They're absolutely fantastic. If you're a Manchester United fan, Ryan, tell them about your podcast for Manchester United.
I have a podcast about Manchester United. It is called The Devils You Know, and we record weekly, although we definitely do not record weekly because it's 3 journalists who occasionally have to work night shifts. So we don't get to, but it's good when we do record, just not that often. So that's The Devils You Know.
Well, if you are a fan of Manchester United, look up the Devils You Know podcast over on Spotify or Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to your podcast, specifically this podcast. If you're a sports fan, go follow Ryan, read his articles over on the Sport Bible. If you're a Redditor, say hi to Ryan over on Reddit, join in the conversation. And if you want to join in the conversation with us, you can do so on our socials, Instagram or Twitter, mainly Instagram. We hardly ever use Twitter. I may as well stop promoting the Twitter, at Challenge React. Officially TJ approved. Ryan, it's been lovely having you. I'm sure we'll catch up very soon. George, get some sleep.
Good call.
Lovely having you as always, though, George.
Pleasure as always, mate. Lovely to meet you, Ryan. See you next week, guys.
And next week we will be back to our regular Thursday schedule, which hopefully means we'll have a bit more energy. But as always, I know we've just talked about it, but it's time for you to experience the trailer of next week's episode of, you ready, George? The Challenge, Spies, Lies, and Allies.